Hey friends, so the Super Mario Brothers movie is coming to streaming. And you know what that means. It's time for me to come on to this channel where I talk about many things and talk about this movie in depth.
Spoiler filled.
Spoilers all over the place, everywhere. Where to start with this? There's so many things that I loved. I kind of started off my car review, if you've seen that, which was my no spoiler review, talking about how this movie, if you do not love it, there's something wrong with you. And I think some people were interpreting that as me saying, like, don't critique the movie. But that's not what I meant. I more meant, like, the people that come and see this movie and go, well, you know, this movie was only all right or something, and are really getting nitpicky about it. Like, obviously you're allowed to nitpick, but what I really meant was, like, if you go to this movie and you do not love it in some capacity, you're broken. Because really, it is a freaking delight. And I cannot believe that it is 59% on Rotten Tomatoes right now at the time of this recording. Although actually, I can believe that because Rotten Tomatoes hates family movies. That's what I think. A lot of family movies that I really love, that I think are fantastic for like all ages, I feel like Rotten Tomatoes is usually not a fan of those unless, I don't know, unless they have like some crazy, amazing animation, magical something going on. Or they're there to say something that's like super important, which is also good, but I don't think we need to do that to have a good time. And that's what this movie is. It is a good time. What do we need to talk about? I mean, we need to talk about a lot of things. What were some of the things I couldn't discuss? The fight on Rainbow Road that they have, I love. I love everything with the carts. I love the making your own cart and how they have the little selectors. There's just so many things in this that really get me hyped about Mario Brothers and Nintendo, and it is basically like a long commercial, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I actually mean that in a good way, because when I left the theater, I was like, I need more Nintendo merch. Like, I don't own. So at the end of the movie, I feel just so you know, I'm gonna be jumping everywhere through this movie because that's how my brain works. But at the end of the movie, Yoshi appears, and I was like, you know, I don't have anything Yoshi, and I love Yoshi. Yoshi's one of my favorite characters. So I feel like I need that, and I was already thinking of all the things that I wanted to own. And it's so brilliant and evil how they made a movie that will just sell so much merch and make you hyped to buy the merch. Not just make you be like, I guess I have to get this. In fact, when I was sitting down to film this video, I was like, I'm wearing my demo bat shirt today, which is obviously a Stranger Things t-shirt dress, not a Nintendo, not a Mario Brothers piece of clothing, because the only thing that I own right now that I could wear that's Nintendo, I think, is the crop top that I was wearing in that video. I think that's the only thing that I own for clothes that's Nintendo. And I was like, how is that possible? Which, by the way, if you also love Yoshi and you want to help me achieve my Nintendo closet dreams, although to be honest, I have too many clothes anyways, but on my thrown gifts right now, I do have a Yoshi dress that is also from the people that made this, actually, Black Milk Clothing, that I'm thinking for a while about getting because it's super cute. So that is the thing you could get me, or I might just buy it soon anyways because I want it. It's a cute little dress, flower dress, but it's got Yoshis on it. I love Yoshi. So the end of this movie and the fact that Yoshi was teased, for me, was so hype. It was so hype. Story time. I used to work at a Laser Quest, and when I worked there, my code name for most of the time working there that I had as a marshal was Yoshi. So I'm just saying, I've loved Yoshi for many years. Also, my main character when I play Smash, I don't often play Smash, I'm not very good at it, but I love playing as Yoshi. I love just like glomming all the other players and turning them into little eggs. I feel like that's a fun time. So the idea that Yoshi is probably what we're going to be dealing with in like the second movie Like, I'm so here for it. And I love how this is very much like a complete adventure, but it also leaves us open. Like, they did tease, but this could have also been where it ended and it probably would have been fine. But I don't think it will be because it's doing
So well.
and making
So much money.
and it'll definitely have a sequel. And I'll be very here for the sequel because also this entire cast was stacked and was amazing. Everyone did such a good job with the voice work. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, Key, who I couldn't believe, Keegan-Michael Key, who is Toad, who I found out after doing my car review because I just loved the voice of Toad so much, and then found that out and then was like, wait, what? Like, what a transformative voice. Anna Taylor-Joy as Peach, Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi. I also really loved Luigi in this. And okay, let's talk about some things. So one of the things that I had heard before I went to see this, I forget where I read it though, but it was a review where someone was talking about like how why can't Peach be the one that's been taken by Bowser that we have to save? Why did it have to be Luigi? And why do we have to change that story point? Kind of almost like, oh, it's like pandering to, I guess, equal rights, women, powerful women, let's go. But I actually really loved what they did with that. And I was even going into it thinking, oh, I don't know if I'll like that because it kind of depends on how they do it. But the way they did it was really smart. Luigi getting kidnapped and being kind of scared, I feel like also just fits really well with a characterization that I have had in Luigi of my mind. I thought it was really perfect. And him kind of needing to like be brave and like believe in himself. It was like a super cute little theme there. Whereas with Peach, it fit more into the story that she was the one kind of helping Mario, because that was what, the fact that Luigi was taken by Bowser was what was keeping Mario invested in actually like helping Peach and, you know, helping the kingdom and staying there. You know what I mean? Like if he and Luigi had just ended up there and they were together or something, or like he had just been able to find him, then they would have just been focused on leaving. But it actually gets him invested in like, oh, we have to stop Bowser. Bowser isn't just someone that's threatening you, Peach, and this magical place that I've come to through a tunnel, but this is a person that's also threatening like my family and my brother. So it gives him personal stakes, I guess, in the conflict that arises, which I really loved. Also, I didn't say this, but Jack Black is Bowser. I'm sorry, I'm listing all these amazing people. And Jack Black as Bowser is phenomenal. And what I meant when I was talking about the thing that I really liked that they did with this character, I love that they kind of gave Bowser this sensitive side, which is obviously like literally just feels like Jack Black, you know what I mean, as Bowser, but it fits really well. And I love that they kind of added that twist to it, that like Bowser doesn't want Peach to like hurt her or anything. He wants Peach because he's in love with Peach. And obviously Peaches has been blowing up. It's a phenomenal track. I loved it in this. I died of laughter. I laughed so much in this movie, and I think it's just a great few hours of escape for all of us that I think at a time in the world, I mean, we can always use escape, but I definitely feel like after the past few years, we could really use some escape right now, which is, I also think, why this movie is doing so well, but also because it's Nintendo, so we all love Nintendo. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, my favorite character. Oh, I wanted to look up who plays this character. Well, Juliet Jelinek, whoever you are, I'm having a hard time finding you. This might be Juliet's first thing, actually, at least according to IMDb. Maybe they don't have an IMDb page, but wow, Luma Lee was my favorite character in this. Luma Lee, for those of you that don't know, is the little star that's in the cage, the glowing little star character that's in the cage when Luigi goes to the dungeon, who is like really dark and really like in love with the fact that they're in the dungeon and has obviously lost their mind, kind of just soaking in all this despair and just wants their life to end. The voice reminded me a little bit of Catbug from Bravest Warriors, and I love that voice, and I love just this idea of like a really adorable character who's like really like messed up in some way. Why do I love that? Is that because I am that sometimes? What does that say about me? But I do love characters like that sort of play with what we think of as being cute. Like this thing that's super cute, but like it's also super dark. Or like it's super cute, but it's also super deadly, which is kind of what Catbug has going on. So Lumily was one of my favorites. The music in this was amazing. But yeah, one of my favorite things was just how rich all of the worlds were and how much attention to detail went into sort of creating each and every single one of these characters and character types. I loved the Shy Guys. I loved when we went to visit the Kongs, and I loved everything that happened over there. I loved how we got the map from Mario. I think that's from Super Mario World. And I loved the carts. I loved just the atmosphere of each place we went to. It was just really cool. I felt bad for King Bob-omb, who, you know, rest in peace, who came to that wedding and then immediately blew up. That was pretty sad. I loved Bowser's outfit. I mean, there's just so many things to love. So let's talk about the little thing that I didn't love as much. Let's talk about that. So the one thing I didn't like as much, I just felt the story at times was a little janky, and there were things that like were loose ends or things that just didn't really like make a ton of sense as to why they happened. These are plot things, and for me, I was willing to dismiss them because this is a kid's movie. One of the things that I think is kind of weird is Mario comes in, sees Peach, he's like instantly like kind of in love with her. I think that's fine. It's like a kid's movie, and also he sees her and, you know, he's overcome. We get like that as people too. That definitely happens. I've met people fallen head over heels instantly and then either been like, wow, that person's terrible, or actually genuinely continue to fall in love with that person. So I think love at first sight is a thing that can happen. But what I felt was kind of strange is the fact that Peach was just like, yeah, you're a random human guy, you can just join me. And I guess that's kind of explained later by her sort of saying, you know, I don't really know where I came from or if I'm human or where I'm from. I showed up here and I was taken in by the Toads and they made me the ruler, and that's what I know. That, I guess you could be curious about. He's a human, am I a human? But at the same time, it just seemed very strange that he was like, I need help saving my brother. And she was like, I have to go on this quest. And he was like, I'll join you. And she's like, you're like super new here, but sure, training montage, and then you can join me. It's not really how things work. And they also alluded to the fact that there was like a traitor in the midst, or some sort of informant that basically passed on information to Bowser and his people. But then we never got to find out who that informant was. And I remember when Duck and I were watching the movie, we were kind of like, oh, could it be Toad? And I was like, oh my gosh, I hope it's not Toad. That would be so upsetting. Like, Toad is so loyal and sweet. And then Toad continued to be loyal and sweet up until the end of that movie, where he was even willing to like basically sacrifice himself for Peach. So obviously not the traitor. And I don't think the Kongs were the traitor because they literally fight against Bowser and lose some of their people. So I don't know who the traitor was. And then I thought maybe it was the guy that was in like the war council room. And then that guy just ended up, just being a Toad that also is loyal. So it never is explained. And I guess maybe it doesn't really matter. It's just like a thing they said to like make it make sense as to how they have the information. But because I'm an adult, I was like obsessed with that one detail because I thought it was going to be a big twist, and then it wasn't. So that wasn't a huge payoff for me. But also I acknowledge, once again, this is a kid's movie, so maybe that was just a minor detail and I fixated on it way too much because I'm an adult and I love a good twist. So that's my only qualm. That's all I have to say. I've already talked for too long, so thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you thought of the movie below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you love? What did you not love? Who is your favorite voice actor? Let's talk about it. And until the next video, as always, stay nerdy, friends. Bye!